Videos and pictures of IPL players failing the bat gauge test have been popping up everywhere online lately. First it was KKR Sunil Narayan and Amrit Nokia, followed by RCB's Shimron Hetmeyer and Phil Salt, and just recently Rajasthan Royals' Riyan Parag got caught in the mix as well. So what exactly is this test and why is it causing such a stir? The bat gauge test was introduced to crack down the use of oversized bats, which have been making life tough for bowlers and giving batters a massive advantage. The IPL is a high-scoring, high-energy spectacle, but it's always been a bit tilted in favor of the batters. With bigger bats, players can hit harder, send the ball flying further and rack up the runs. But the IPL wanted to find a way to level things out a little bit. Ahead of the 2025 season, the IPL made some major changes to try and balance the game along with the bat gauge test. They also lifted the ban on saliva, which was imposed during the COVID-19 era. They started using 2 new balls in each game and of course brought the restriction on bat sizes. Here's how the bat gauge test works. A triangular plastic tool is used to measure the bat. If the bat doesn't pass through this tool, the player has to replace it with one that fits the specifications. The rules for the bat sizes are actually really specific. The depth of the bat cannot be more than 2.64 inches. The width cannot exceed 4.25 inches. The edge thickness has to stay under 1.56 inches and the bulge should not go beyond 0.20 inches. These are the official limits for the bats according to MCC Law 5, and if a bat breaks any of these rules, it's game over for that piece of wood. Arun Dhumal, the chairman of the IPL, spoke about the reasoning behind this rule. He said that nobody should ever feel that someone has an unfair advantage over the other. The IPL and BCCI have always prided themselves on keeping the game fair and ensuring that every player gets an equal shot. Using technology to back up decisions is part of that effort, of course. No one wants to see a game unfairly influenced by a bat that's too big to even begin with. Now, you might be wondering why the rule was implemented mid-season, right? It wasn't because the IPL decided on a whim to make the change. The rule had actually been discussed before the season even started. But there was a bit of a delay in ratifying it by the governing council. That's why it wasn't officially rolled out until April 13th. Prior to that, the checks were done by the 4th umpire a day before the match and the players were selected on a random. Only some players were checked, leaving a huge loophole. Some batters could still use oversized bats without getting caught, so the IPL revamped the system to make it much stricter. Now, the 4th umpire checks the opener's bat before they walk out onto the field, and the all on-field umpires can check any other bats at any point during the match. That's right, the bat gauge test, like we have all seen, can happen at any point in the game. This new system is meant to close the loophole once and for all. But what happens if a bat doesn't pass the test? At the moment, the penalty is simple. The player has to change the bat. There are no fines or sanctions yet. It's really just about making sure the bat fits the rules. The IPL borrowed this from the ECB, who already use it in their domestic competitions. At the end of the day, the goal is to make sure that the game stays fair. The IPL is still a batter's paradise, but it shouldn't be a game of who has the biggest bat. It is about skill, technique and timing, and it's not about what bat you're holding. With these changes in IPL, the IPL is hoping to make sure the playing field is as even as possible and that every player gets a fair shot to show their talents.